Hello, mortals. If you want to hear the sound that the universe will make when it dies, then listen carefully. Are you ready? Good. Now close your eyes and try to imagine the most desolate, depressing, hopeless place you can think of. Imagine that the sun has turned into a cold, dark, dead star. All the other stars in the night sky have done the same long ago. Every single one of them has turned into a white dwarf. No more light sources. Only darkness, an infinite blanket of impenetrable darkness covering the entire universe. Now imagine the remnants of our solar system, 8 lifeless planets wandering through the darkness, slowly and steadily drifting apart from each other, never to return back to the imaginary sun again. They wander aimlessly for billions of years until they are flung out into the unfathomable depths of outer space forever. Each planet's orbit eventually decaying into a parabolic trajectory away from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, never to return again. All planets have left the galaxy, each flying off in its own direction into the uncharted territories of the universe. And then picture all this happening on a background of silence. An eternal, unending silence that is occasionally broken by the faint echoes of long-dead stars. Can you hear it? This is the sound of our solar system's death, the death of our planetary home. But that of the universe at large, the grand finale, the heat death is much, much worse, far beyond anything we can possibly imagine. At the end of time, entropy will win, completely and utterly crushing everything in its path. Stars will go out one by one, leaving behind only cold, dark stellar corpses. Space will become colder and darker than you can possibly imagine. The fabric of space-time itself will become wrinkled, torn, and contorted. The laws of physics as we know them will break down. There will be no more chemical reactions. Everything will settle into its final state of perfect stillness. Nothing will move anymore, absolutely nothing. Not even atoms or subatomic particles. Everything will just freeze in place forever. Time itself will stop. This is what will happen if the heat death occurs, the heat death of the universe. But how does this happen? What's the mechanism behind this ultimate fate? To answer this question, let's take a look at what's going on in the universe right now. Right now, the universe is expanding, and this expansion is accelerating. The universe is becoming emptier and emptier with every passing second, and this trend will continue in the future. Eventually, galaxies will drift so far away from each other that they will no longer be visible. Even within our own Milky Way galaxy, there are already a lot of stars that are too far away to be seen with the naked eye. Some of these stars lie so far away that their light has not even reached us yet. For these stars, we can only see their ancient past selves. Meanwhile, new stars are born closer to us. As time goes on, more and more stars will turn into white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. Our sun will also eventually die and turn into a white dwarf. Earth will no longer be able to orbit around it since it will have no gravitational pull whatsoever. Our home planet will fly off into the vast expanse of outer space. It will wander around for a while until it comes across another star and crashes into it. It will be completely obliterated in the process. Any life forms that somehow managed to survive the heat death of the sun will now perish due to our home planet's destruction. But this is only the beginning. As the universe expands, it becomes colder and darker. Stars will begin to die out, one by one, every single one of them. One day, our solar system will consist of several lifeless planets, wandering through the darkness, each of them silently drifting further and further apart from each other. Within billions of years, all planets will leave the Milky Way galaxy, each flying off in its own direction into the uncharted territories of the universe. In the meantime, the expansion of the universe will continue. Galaxies will drift so far away from each other that they will no longer be visible. Even the faint glow coming from distant galaxies will disappear. All the light from the stars will fade away. Darkness will swallow up the universe, an eternal, unending darkness that is occasionally broken by the faint echoes of long-dead stars. All physical processes will slow down dramatically. Atoms will decay, but their electrons will have nowhere to go. Chemical reactions will cease to exist. New elements will no longer be formed. The remnants of planets, moons, asteroids, and comets will continue to wander through the darkness for trillions of years until they eventually evaporate into intergalactic space. The only thing that will remain will be the corpses of dead stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. Eventually, the remnants of these dead stars will also disappear. Black holes will evaporate via Hawking radiation. White dwarfs will cool off. Neutron stars will lose their electron degeneracy pressure and collapse into themselves. Everything will settle into its final state of perfect stillness. Now, remember that silence I told you about at the start of the video? Well, this is how it will sound. Let me explain. According to physics, sound cannot travel in a vacuum. Sound needs a medium to travel through. This is why there is no sound in space. Sound is really vibrations that travel through matter by colliding with atoms. When a planet or star collides with a certain atom, that atom vibrates and pushes against another atom, which pushes against another atom, and so on and so forth. This creates a domino effect of sorts, a chain reaction of vibrations that we perceive as sound. When the heat death occurs, the last remaining atoms will decay. This means that there will be no medium for sound to travel through. This is why at the end of time, there will be no sound. Sound will literally die out. Now, some of you might say, well, maybe there will still be some radiation around, and radiation also travels as a wave. Why can't we hear the radiation at the end of time? Well, radiation isn't sound. You cannot hear gamma rays or X-rays. Moreover, the amount of radiation in the universe will decrease dramatically after the heat death. Most of the radiation in the universe right now comes from stars, and once all stars go out, there will be almost no radiation. Sure, there will be some particles floating around, and those particles will collide with each other and annihilate, releasing photons. But there will be so few of them that it won't make any noise. In fact, there won't be enough particles for light to travel through the universe. So even if some photons did get released, they would have no way to escape the darkness. This is why at the end of time, there will be silence. An eternal, unending silence that is occasionally broken by the faint echoes of long-dead stars. This is the sound of our planetary home's death, the death of our solar system. But that of the universe at large, the grand finale, the heat death, is much, much worse, far beyond anything we can possibly imagine. So what do you think? Will you still believe in the heat death of the universe after hearing this? Or maybe you think that there will be something left when the heat death occurs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. By the way, if you're still listening, then you might also want to check out this video where you can learn about the heat death of our sun. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then please consider subscribing. Also, thanks for the support. It really means a lot. Here's a quote that I think you will like. It is from Carl Sagan. We tend to imagine that we live in a world that makes sense because we can measure it, quantify it, and analyze it. We build equations to describe it. We devise computer models to simulate it. We even write books and newspapers to record it. We convince ourselves that we understand it. Then occasionally, very occasionally, something happens that cannot be measured, quantified, or analyzed. Something that does not make sense. A child is born, a flower blooms, a friend smiles. These moments remind us that we are alive. They make the making of the equations worthwhile.